and company in San Francisco tonight?
Well, just like I talked about the challenge facing Milwaukee being greater than their first-round victim, the Bulls, I mean, the challenge facing Memphis is much greater than their first-round victim, Minnesota, which did challenge Memphis to a degree. So they're not going to be coming back if they get down 23 or 26 points. We're not seeing any of that against Golden State. And they're going against a proven champion. Guys who have worn that championship belt, who can claim they still wear it because nobody's beating them in the ring healthy. So they're facing an entirely different challenge to go in the Chase Center and sort of try to establish something. Some of that silly fouling and lackadaisical play and falling behind and bad shot selection and weird stuff that goes on in the last 5 minutes of each half. Memphis can't have that. Not if they're going to get the theft of one game in San Francisco. So we'll see if they're up to that. But what's that learning curve going to produce from that first series plus 2 games so far from Memphis?
Well, I've overcome the first challenge because I got over the fact that I had courtside seats to tonight's game, and I can't make it because I had to be here in cold, rainy New York City. So now that I got beyond that point and I missed out on being in attendance for this game, let me tell you something right now. Even though Memphis has a challenge, even though they have a challenge, especially with Desmond Bane doing virtually nothing. I mean, there's an APB. I gave an APB out for Spencer Dinwiddie the other night. It's only fair that I put one out for Desmond Bane. Where the hell are you? Averages 7 points, not shooting anything from the field. We expected a hell of a lot more from Desmond Bane, who Ja Morant thought should have been the comeback player of the year. And a lot of us gave him a vote, by the way, because he is a special player. But he ain't playing like that in this series thus far. But I'm going to tell you who I'm putting out the biggest APB out for, which is why the challenge may not be as immense as we think. If Klay Thompson doesn't show up, that does not help the Golden State Warriors. Klay Thompson, I want everybody to put your hand on your chest. Like Fred Sanford to Elizabeth are coming home to join you, honey. Think about this. Jordan Poole and Steph Curry are averaging 25.5 points a game. Klay Thompson's at 13.5 points. Klay Thompson is shooting 29% from the field and 22% from three-point range. This is one of the greatest shooters in the history of basketball, a 3-time champion that can't find the basket. I don't know what the hell's going on, but it needs to be fixed.
And I know how much you love picking the Warriors to win it, Stephen.
Yes.
You're exactly right about what you said about Klay, but I'm going to talk about the other side of the ball. A sentence that we never thought we'd say starting this year. Without Gary Payton II, the Warriors had no chance to guard Ja Morant. And usually that used to be Klay. And defensively, after dealing with those injuries these last couple of years, his wheels just isn't the same defensively. So now he's not able to knock down shots offensively because they're making it work on that side.
May I say something crazy to Mike Wilbon and Jalen Rose, my brothers? I got to say it. I might be far-fetched here. Let me see Wilbon on that screen. I take my chances and put Jonathan Kuminga on Ja Morant. I take my chances.
I'm with you.
Listen, hey, he's got to learn a lot, but this dude plays defense. He's got size, he's got length, he's got athleticism. Maybe that's what you need to sort of neutralize Ja, who's averaging 40.
So Ja's shooting 100% against Poole, 3 for 3, 6 for 10 against Klay, 60%. He struggled 7 or 20 or something against Wiggins. I think Wiggins is going to actually be the guy. And as we talk about the Golden State Warriors, but to start the game, but as we talk about the Warriors, people forget Andrew Wiggins started in the All-Star game this season.
Yeah.
Like this season.
Look, man, he made us forget that.
Wiggins and Kuminga. Those two guys are critical.
Go ahead, Will.
Michael, go.
Critical for Golden State. Wiggins and Kuminga, they're both right.
Yep,
those guys, look, why did Golden State get off to that great start without Klay? Yes, Steph Curry was the MVP of those first 6-8 weeks, whatever it was. But Wiggins and Kuminga and Poole were the ones, Kuminga third in that list, that were critical to that start. They're going to have to come back and pitch in like they did in, say, November, December.
Kuminga's 19 years old. Who knows how much we'll see of him tonight against the young superstar.
On Clay.
Within 15 shots in consecutive games for the first time in his career. And that defense that Boston plays, plus the three-point shooting, that's how they won Game 2. They made 23s on Tuesday night, the most in any playoff game in franchise postseason history. And so, as we get ready for this Game 3, Stephen A. Smith and Michael Wilbon joins us. But Stephen A., I start with you. This one has long series written all over it.
Yeah.
What is ultimately going to decide it?
Who's making shots? And I'm not talking about the two teams. I'm talking about three specific individuals. You are Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Jaylen Brown. You're shooting both of them identical, 47.4% from three-point range in this series, although Jason Tatum is shooting 42% from the field, while Jaylen Brown is shooting 48% from the field. In the case of Giannis, you're averaging, what is it, like 26, 11, and 9. But he is shooting 38.5%. Giannis, who shoots religiously over 50% because he's usually dunking on people. He is shooting 38.5% from the field, 60% from three-point range, and 55% from the free throw line. I don't care what anybody else does for you. If Giannis shows up registering those type of numbers in this series, the Milwaukee Bucks are not getting past the Eastern Conference semifinals. He's got to be more efficient offensively. They need to as well, but especially him.
And it's not for a lack of aggression. And you're exactly right, Stephen A. During the regular season and even in these playoffs, 64% he scored on drives. In this series, only 40%. They're doing a great job of walling him off. Al Horford in particular, using his size, using his physicality. And how about Grant Williams? When you see him playing against Giannis, you think Giannis should be able to do a move and score over him. But he's doing a great job of taking away his airspace. As soon as Giannis put that thing on the floor, the piranhas coming to swarm from the ball. And Marcus Smart going to be one of those guys today.
So, Michael, we have two Game 3s today. We have one tonight with Golden State and Memphis, and then this one. Both these series feel about as even as you could possibly imagine. So, Wilbon, same question. What do you think ultimately decides this Eastern Conference matchup?
I mean, Jalen and Stephen A. just said it. It's shooting. And I'm sorry, didn't we just go through this with Kevin Durant in the last round? And everybody's talking about how awful Durant was, huh? That's the Boston Celtics defense, 39%, as Stephen A. just said. That's what we're looking at again. Look, and Jalen said, used the phrase, walled him off. Of course that's what happened. What Toronto did a few seasons ago, postseasons ago, en route to an NBA championship. They walled him off. They got similar percentages. That's what the Celtics defense is capable of. Physically, strategically, in terms of manpower, resources, they can do similarly what Toronto did, and we know that Milwaukee couldn't get through that. I'm looking for the Celtics to do the same thing, and if Giannis doesn't get closer to 50%, he doesn't have to be on fire, but 39%, Stephen A. is right. That's not going to get it, and let's see if that Celtics defense can produce like that on the road today in this pivotal Game 3.
Greeny, very, very important points that America needs to recognize. Both Jalen Rose and Mike Wilbon emphasize Stephen A. is right. That's a good narrative. Way to go, guys. Way to go.
By the way, you're seeing Marcus Smart there. He will be back on the floor for the Celtics today, which is a critical addition. They won Game 2 without him. But Jalen, you always tell us that the role players